Welcome to the tour of Architect Homes, and I would like to introduce myself. I am Alyssa, and I will be your tour guide today on this fine tour of 12 very expensive architect homes. So let's get started. For this first home, here in our tour, we have a family home, it looks like. I like it. I like how they built the porch. But for the house costing over 1 million simoleons and it uses a lot of the older items, it's not worth it. And for inventory, I would rate it a 0. I need a coffee with all these architect homes. Please excuse me. On our next stop, this house is quite interesting, but yet very overpriced. Now, in this home, it is a family home, it looks like, and I like it, but for the cost being very high as it is, I don't think so. Now, for the inventory purposes, I would rate it maybe a 2. Now, for the next stop for our tour of overpriced home architect homes, here we have another home. This, I'm assuming, is meant to be a family home. It's using a lot of the older items as the other homes did, but there are a mixture of a few newer items. Now, I do like the layout of this home. I think that it would be great for a small family. But for inventory purposes, I would rate it a 0. For our next stop on this architect home tour, we have a home that I swear that we have had before. This, I am assuming, is a family home. Maybe, maybe not. It uses a lot of the older items, and when you're paying over 1 million simoleons for a house, you kind of would expect more. Now, this basement is quite a piece of work, and then there's a bedroom upstairs. The layout makes no sense, and for inventory, I would rate it a 0. Step on our tour of architect homes, we have this home right here. This is a very interesting home, but I am going to say I do not like it. It's not my personal taste, but there are some people who would like it, and that's okay. Now, the wallpaper looks like that it belongs inside a pool. And the house itself, the rooms, to me, they don't make sense. But again, this is my opinion. Now, for the next home, we have this wonderful home right here. I actually do like this one. I think it makes sense for the most part. But I'm pretty sure we've had a home that was like this before, maybe in a different way. And I think the third floor is, I don't know. I don't really like the third floor, but I like the house. Now, for this next home on our wonderful tour of architect homes, we have had this house before. And here in Simtown, they love to repeat a lot of the same homes. And they're sold for more money, so go figure. So this basement is not, I don't like it. And the home itself, it doesn't make sense. Again, that is my opinion. But for inventory, I would rate it a 3 because there are some things in here that you may find that you don't have. So pay close attention. Now on to our next home on this tour of homes. We have this very interesting shaped house. To me, it reminds me of a bat. I don't know why. And this is built on the homestead lot, I guess. I don't know. And this is an interesting house. I will say I like the kitchen. I like the layout of the house. I think it's nice. Now, what I don't get is the spa, but only in Simtown are you able to find a band room and a spa in one place. Now, For inventory purposes for this house, I would rate it maybe a 1. But it all depends what you have on your inventory. But I would say it's a 1. But I do like the layout of the home. This may be a good one for Sims Freeplay architects to do a remodel on, but I'm not sure. So for inventory purposes, yes, this is a good home. And for our next home on this stop of Architect Homes, we have this house right here with a very busy backyard and a interesting shaped pool. Now, in real life, I can't imagine having a pool like that, but that's me. So in this home, I like the layout of it, I will say that. And there's a lot of smaller rooms, but this house makes sense. And I like the kitchen. I do not like the backyard. Now, in this home, this can be a very nice family home, but this basement has got to go because it's just unneeded space, it looks like. But if any of you can make a work of this basement, feel free. Now, on the upstairs of the home, each room has its own ensuite, which is very nice for this home that is quite expensive. And for inventory, I would probably rate this a 1 or a 0. But it depends on what you have on hand in your inventory. Now we go up to the 3rd floor, and this is what I'm assuming is the master suite. And ladies and gentlemen, for our next house, we have what I personally call the Japanese style haunted house, if you can call it that. And when you look inside, it looks like that the wallpaper is like the pool paving. I think it's a glitch. I do like the garden, but I do not like the house itself. I think it's creepy. And again, that's not meant to be rude. That's just my opinion. And hello, haunted house. But yet it has a certain French style, if you will. So it's a Japanese haunted house with a French style decor. Gotta love that. Only in Sims. I don't like the layout, I will say that. And I don't like that house overall. I just don't. And here in Simtown, where the house rates go up, we have this beautiful home right here. It is like an L-shaped home, and it has a fountain in the front, which you can only find here in Simtown. Now, as you enter into the home, you find elevators and fish tanks and some other things. I like the layout of this home. I think it's interesting. But here in Simtown, when you're paying over 1 million simoleons for a house, you kind of expect more. And this house uses a lot of the older items. So for inventory for this house, I would rate it a 1. Now, next up on this fine tour of Architect Homes here in Simtown, we have a school, which I didn't know at first was a school, but I took a closer look, and this is a boarding school, it looks like. So you walk in, and this is obviously like classrooms. And it uses a lot of the older items in this house. So far for inventory purposes, it's a 0. But I think that it was a neat idea to make a boarding school. I think it looks nice. But for the cost of the house, I would say it's not worth it. But whoever had built this had done a great job. It's a different build. Now, Sims Freeplay Architect, I could ask her to redo this home, but I don't think it will because this would be way too much. So, welcome to the Simtown School, where the cost of the house is way too overpriced.